Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It is match preview showtime, and I've got a guest on tonight who's probably at least as miserable, if not more miserable, than us Gillingham fans at the moment because we play Hartlepool at the weekend, who somehow have been worse than us and sit below us in the Sky Bet League Two table. So that takes some going. But I am pleased to say that I'm joined by a fairly familiar face and certainly voice if you listen to the lower league look. And that is Grant Scott Johnson, who is a Hartlepool fan. Grant, appreciate you coming on, mate.
No worries, Matt. Pleasure to be on. It's I think as you said, we're two of the worst teams in the league at the moment. I think it's fair to say.
God bless Rochdale. That's all I can say at the moment.
At least Rochdale are scoring goals.
Well, there is that to be. What are
they? Was that scene that they'd scored? Was it 7 goals in the last few games that they scored? I'm like, oh my god, goals! Like, I'm not used to them. You guys aren't used to them.
I mean, we make you look prolific. So,
it was when you scored your second. I was like, there we go, Gillingham. They've doubled their goal tally for the season
in game 8.
Yeah.
Right. Let's have a look at the recent form of both teams. It's not great. It's quite symmetrical as well. Last 6 in the league for Hartlepool and last 6 in the league for the Gills. Reeds, no wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats. Both sides have taken 3 points from 18 available, which tells you all you need to know as to why we are both languishing right near the foot of the table. Breaking it down further, it's not much prettier, let's be honest. At home, Hartlepool have taken 3 points from 12. It's 3 draws and a solitary defeat, so at least some points. Gills on the road, and Grant's just mentioned that we doubled our goal tally for the season at Grimsby just over a week ago, and that was our first goal and our first point on the road all season. It's 1 point from 4 games for Neil Harris's men. Very, very slim pickings. We've blanked in 7 of our 9 games, Grant. You've only scored twice at home. We don't keep many clean sheets. And between us, 1 win, 10 points, 8 goals.
We just finished the podcast here on that.
See you later, everybody. We're off to drink.
This is going to be a fantastic game this weekend. Can't wait for everyone.
We've got to talk about Paul Hartley. Obviously, he's been sacked. One of, I think, 2 managers in the division, along with the Rochdale manager who went as well. Robbie Stockdale, did remember his name. I remember coming on the lower league look back in the summer before the season started, and you were quite upbeat about Hartley. You was quite impressed with the recruitment, if I recall correctly. I think you was having them, the Poolies down as a sort of a lower mid-table finish, which I didn't think was too unrealistic. I think I had slightly below that in my preview video. But as we sit here and talk a couple of months and 9 games later in the league, obviously we're both really, really struggling. Why did it so quickly go so wrong for Paul Hartley?
Do you know what? He never, ever clicked with the club at all.
Right.
He didn't have an understanding of the club, didn't have an understanding of the fans, ethos of anything, and everything just seemed so negative with him. I think that was a massive thing. There was a serious disconnect between the club and the fans. He never went up to any of the stands at the end of games, never clapped away fans and wins, losses, draws, anything. It was a bad one to see. Tactically inept. I think he used 5 or 6 different systems throughout his short tenure. Even though saying he had to stick to his guns, he was wanting to play fast, free-flowing football. Never seen any of that. And the fitness of the players, my God, I've never seen our team so unfit. In a long time. I don't know who his fitness coach was, but they're not a fitness coach. He had a performance analyst in. What a waste of a job that was. He was just poor. Really, really poor. I've not seen a poorer manager in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, that sums it up, doesn't it? There's not a lot more you can add to that. If all them things are going on, then it's a recipe for disaster, unfortunately. Which is a shame. Obviously, come down from Scotland, you're always taking a bit of a risk. I know there's always this talk and this sort of stigma against Scottish football, and it's, the standard aside from the big 2 in the Premier is nowhere near the level of English football. But He could have come down and been a success, and it'd have been a great appointment. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Successor at the moment is Keith Curle, which I think is on an interim basis. That's not a full-time position at the moment, is it? What we think early doors in terms of Mr. Curle. Done well in this division before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Keith Curle, but I don't think anyone's the biggest fan of Keith Curle. At all. He's kind of like your Sam Allardyce of League Two, isn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Gets the job done, but it's not going to be fun or particularly pretty to watch.
Exactly. We're not going to be playing pretty football, I wouldn't imagine. We need a drill sergeant, and that's exactly what Keith Curle is. We need someone to go on, drill, listen to the players, get an actual system working, get the players fit, bring a bit of positivity in to the club as a whole. Great news is we brought in Colin West along with him as well, and Anthony Sweeney's come back into the first team game, which Paul Hartley just put him into the back offices, and he's an integral part of the club. So I mean, I'm buzzing so far with what's happened, and there seems to be a real positive reaction from the fans as a whole so far to this. So I'm really hoping
it's not what you want to see. It's not what you want to see as a support of a struggling team, and you're going up to a side that's struggling more than you, and then they go and replace their gaffer because, as you've just said, invariably manager bounce might occur. That'd be very Gillingham.
As you were saying, your away record's not fantastic, but likewise, our home record isn't. But I think there will be numbers there this weekend.
That's it. Both sets of supporters are thinking, "Cool, you aside from Rochdale, you couldn't handpick a better opponent and try and get your season kick-started, could you?" Because we're coming up and thinking, if we're ever going to win an away game, it should be the one. And you're thinking, if we can ever get an 8 win, this is the one. So
exactly.
And like you say, you're probably going to have the benefit of a bigger crowd than you would have done if Hartley was still in charge. There'd be positivity because of a fresh start. So we're going to have to dampen the crowd, I'd imagine, first and foremost, and then try and, just be better than we have been. I've spoken millions of times about Neil Harris, and I think I called him the best manager in the division when I came onto the lower league. Look, it's not helping me at the greatest deal at the moment.
But you've got to keep that positivity going.
And like I said before we started recording, I don't think we can do any better if he was to leave, whether that's to be sacked or walk away, because we won't attract anyone else. Certainly not of his calibre in this division, and we'll invariably go down the route of probably an ex-player again, like we've done before, and that never really works. Talking of ex-players, that brings me. Look at that! It's like I've done this for a long time.
It's went full circle, hasn't it? Now I like these little moments when you go, "Oh, here we go. We're going in a circle." And
former players,
for
Gills, currently on Hartlepool's books. Alex Lacey and Michael and Jolly. I said to you about Lacey at the time, didn't I, when we was on the lower league season preview show, that I thought he looked like a good signing at the level. He was decent for us in League One, but he was just never fit, unfortunately. How's he settled in?
He's had a tough time of it, I think. Again, I think there's been nipping between systems. Between a back three, between a back four. He doesn't seem suited to a back four at all at the moment. But then he's been playing in a back four with either they've been swapping in and out of Murray and Meniesi.
Right.
So there's never been consistency really in the back at all. And I think all of them have struggled at the back with this. But there's certainly a player there, but it's getting it right with them.
So, because the apps that I use, it looks like I thought you'd been lining up in a back three predominantly, looking at the last few games. But is that not correct? Has the app got it wrong? Because it's got Lacey in a back three in the last.
More recently, yes, it has been. But you see, when you look at our heavier defeats, so your likes of Bradford, Orient, Walsall, when it's been 3-4 conceded, we've played a back four.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it's because I was just curious, obviously, because you said that Hartley had flitted between various systems. Yeah. I thought he's only had 9 games. How many can you change?
Yeah, mate, honestly, it's unreal the amount of things that he changed. It's odd because I don't think he knew who his best 11 was, what his best system was, or anything at all. The other problem that we've had is our 3 centre backs that we've had is Lacey, Murray, and Meniesi. They're the 3 centre backs we have in our books.
Yep.
And we play a back three.
We was like that until the last day of the transfer window. We wanted to play. Well, Harry said he didn't want to play a back three, and he played it last season when he came in because he was working with what he had, essentially.
Yep.
So he said he wanted to play a back four. So we went to Wimbledon first day of the season, played a back four, weren't great, got beat, persisted with it, beat Rochdale. All was rosy again. Got tonked at Tranmere, went back to a back three, kept a couple of clean sheets, but looked even more impotent than we do in a back four. Gambled at Grimsby and went back to a back. No, gambled at home to Swindon, went back to a back four, and watched his new signing get sent off after 10 minutes, and we dug out a draw.
Yeah.
Then we went to Grimsby and with a better side in a back four and thought, oh, brilliant. And then he went back to a back three against Mansfield, and it was the first time that I questioned him, and I thought he's got this horribly wrong. Thought the lad back in who'd been sent off, and he wasn't a lot better, and he got bought off at half time.
That was some sending off as well, wasn't
similarities.
it?
Oh my god, it was so bad.
Two bookings, wasn't two stupid bookings as well.
But if you watch the first booking, he has a swipe at him on the edge of the box, misses him, and then catches up with him and gets him again and gets the yellow. And then I think he's just trying too hard the second one. And he was involved in the penalty that we gave away last weekend as well. So
he's endeared himself, hasn't he?
Well, he got called up by Tanzania in the week, and they said we can keep him. So I'm sure he'll improve. I say that in jest before I get shot down by Portsmouth fans telling me that he's a brilliant player. I'm sure he is a good prospect, but we've just not seen it yet, unfortunately. And we've got no Elkan Baggott. He's away with Indonesia. He's been, better for a kid. We all understand that these people come on loan because they're not the finished article. But gone off on a tangent. The other one was Mick Allen Jolly. We had him for half a season a couple of years ago under Steve Evans. Scored a couple of really good goals against Wickham when they were top of the league in early season, but then quickly went off the boil. Scored a couple of goals, I think, for you in the Stuff Trust. But so how's he been doing? Because he's been been here, there, and everywhere since he left us. I think he went abroad to some sort of outpost in the middle of nowhere where you never really know where he's going, and then came back to English football.
Do you know what? He's looked all right. He looks like he's decent in the air. He scored I think it's a couple of headers he scored for us. He looks decent. We've not seen a lot of him. There's been a lot of injury there with him so far. That seems to be a common theme with him, I think. Hamstring seems to go, and then he plays, and then he signed for us. We didn't have a striker, and then he wasn't fit, and we played him for 70 minutes while he wasn't fit. Hartley strikes again. It's been a tough start for him. But the games he's played and what I've seen of him, he looks all right.
Sounds pretty much how I'd assess his time at Gills. When he was good, he was very good. And he's got everything you want in a modern day striker. He's quick, he can run in, can be on, he can stretch it. He had a decent touch, he could finish, when he got the chances, but he was very inconsistent. And again, you have to understand that they're kids and they're trying to learn the game. But it'd be interesting to see how he progresses. If he can keep himself fit, then I'd imagine you've got, a fairly decent player at the level. I'm not going to say he's going to get 15, 20 goals, but he'll probably score Saturday, let's put it that way. Probably be 2-0 Lacey and Jolly.
Probably. I mean, we've got a decent contingent of strikers now. We've got Njoli, we've got Josh Umaira, who I rate really, really highly. I think he's a phenomenal striker that we signed from Wealdstone. We've got young Hamilton that we got from Arbroath, and then there's the Chris Maguire saga.
I've got him written down. I wanted to talk about that. How have you managed to pull that off? Because for me, I thought we could have stayed League One.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could have stayed League One. He's a great striker, I think. Obviously, he's got this betting ban coming up over him, so the decision I think is going to be at the end of the month. Over what's happened with that. And who knows how long his ban's going to be, because I think it's 52 bets. Allegedly.
Maybe that's the reason that you managed to get.
So I think that was definitely
because he can't play.
Yeah, because he's not going to be able to play. So it's been written. Something's been written into his contract, but I've heard murmurings that deal is off now.
The clause in the contract.
Since Hartley's gone, apparently I've heard something that he's away. Could be the shortest player that I've heard at a club since Faustino Asprilla was at Darlington.
Faustino Asprilla, there you go. There's one for the mid-90s fans. Elastic legs.
But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Maguire. He's been injured since we signed him.
Right.
But then there's talks that his paperwork never went through. He's never actually been registered with us, and he's now actually gone. So I don't know. That's something that I'm still trying to get a bit more information on and find out what's going on.
Fair enough. So chances are won't be involved Saturday.
I don't think he'll be involved at all.
Fair enough. Team news. Obviously, we're recording on a Wednesday evening, so we're generally before all the clubs do their press conferences on a Thursday. So there's nothing coming out of, not that I've seen, certainly not of Gills and not of Hartlepool either. You obviously know more than I do about the Poolies and what they've got available and who might be injured, suspended. So you can become manager for the next couple of minutes. What's going to be the 11 come 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon?
Oh, do you know what? I've not even looked at my 11 yet for that. I'd usually go on Fan Hub straight away and find out exactly what I'll be looking to do. The thing that I know is that Nicky Featherstone is going to be injured.
Okay.
He's injured, so I don't think he's going to feature this weekend. I think we are going to stick to a back three again. Obviously, Ben Killip's going to be the keeper.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that we're going to see the reintroduction of David Ferguson at left back. He's been out the squad because he wasn't fancied in comparison to Brodie Patterson. I think Ferguson's a much, much better left back. I think we'll see Jamie Sterry reintroduced back in as right wing back as well, which is really positive news for us. He's been out injured, but Tumilty has played well. I think he's done really well at that, but I do think Sterry will come in ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see a back three. I think we'll see Lacey, Meniace, and I think Senna. So Mohamed Niang, I think he will drop back into the defence. That's what he played in the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And he played really, really well. He's doing great as a CDM. He's one of the players that we've got from someone I rate really, really highly. I think we'll go a midfield three.
Yep. Of
Mo Silla, Shelton, and Tom Crawford. And I think we'll play two up front. I think we'll end up seeing Umera and Jolie. I think we'll go a 5-3-2.
Interesting then, because like I said, we keep flitting between back four, back three. So it's whether, like I said, we've got no Baggett, Baggett on loan from Ipswich. He's away.
You know, Curle loves a big man to lump it too, don't you? So if Umera is going to be there and you can see Tom Crawford run off him and Jolie run off him, I think that could be fit right into Curle ball. So
it's back. It's back.
It is back.
League Two fans, Curle ball does return.
And he loves a 3-5-2, doesn't he?
It does seem to be his favourite system. I think he did that when he was at Carlisle. I think he had it when he was at Northampton and got them out of this division as well. So yeah, I'd be very surprised if it was anything different.
Mysterious
or not a variation of it. There you go. What a tune. I think Gills will have to go back four purely because, like I say, Elkan Baggett's away. Cannot start Haji Minoga. No disrespect to the lad. He's two of the worst performances you can imagine trying to start your career with someone on loan. So for me, I'd go flat back four. Glenn Morris, not been great the last two. Probably one of the best keepers in the division for the last half a decade, but he's not been great in the last two. He was at fault for the goal at Grimsby, and he was part of the problem that gave the penalty away at home to Mansfield. I get he saved it, but his distribution was poor as well, which is very unlike Morris. But he'll be in goal. If it's me, I'll go back for Robbie McKenzie, who's just returned to the club at right back. I'd bring Will Wright back into the side and play him as a centre back with Maxima. Like I say, the only other option is Haji Minoga. I don't trust him. I trust him less than I trust the other two. Ryan Law harshly dropped for me at home to Mansfield, so I'll bring him back in at left back. He's been all right on loan from Plymouth so far. I'll go to a diamond. We've gone between 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2, 3-4-2-1. Then we played a 4-2-3-1. So again, more similarities to Hartlepool. I'd go to the diamond and flood the middle of the park and try and make it hard for you lot to play through us, especially if you're going to go a bit direct as well. Then we can drop Sean Williams in. I'd have him at the base of the diamond. Stuart O'Keefe from the right and Ben Reeves from the left. It's a little bit square pegs round holes, but I'd play Haki Badalukan from the point of the diamond as a 10. I'd drop Mika Mandron.
You would drop him. See, he used to play for us, so you could get the old past player coming back in again.
Oh, well, of course, then we'll keep him in and he'll definitely score and you'll win 2-1 now, obviously, because Mandron will get ours and Lacey and Jolly will get yours. I didn't realise that.
I mean, saying that it was only 5, I think it was only 5 games he played. He came to us on loan from Sunderland.
Oh, of course, he was at Sunderland as a kid, wasn't he?
Yeah. I didn't rate him that massively when he was at us back then, but again, we're talking, 6-7 years ago?
We had him a couple of years ago. Evans bought him in and he didn't play loads, didn't start all the time, but he scored 6 and the last game before COVID, he scored 2 at Sunderland, ironically. And he was absolutely unplayable for the entire 90 minutes. So I was really pleased when we got him back. I thought, right, 24 goals in the division above. I thought, dropping into League Two.
Yeah.
I think he's the wrong player for League Two. I think because in League One, there were there were better sides in there, and that's no disrespect to League Two. League Two is a very direct league where you have to stand up to that physical test. And I think Mandron's not the archetypal target man like we had last season in Verdane Oliver. So he wants it into feet a bit more. He's not winning so many aerial duels. For me, I'd drop him.
Seen that, Verdane Oliver's been dropped this season as well.
Andy Cook's absolutely flying, isn't he?
He's been unreal for Bradford so far.
So I'd go with Scott Cashkett and Lewis Walker if Cashkett's fit. He missed the weekend defeat because he had a groin issue and had to come off at half time at Grimsby last week. But I'm sure he was in the pictures of his training during the week. So fingers crossed he'd fit. I'd try and go with pace. Alex Lacey's not quick.
No.
And I'd just try a completely different approach because there's still that tendency to hit Mandron if he's there because he is a tall figure in the final third. So that'd be my team. I'm sure Neil's got a completely different idea, and that's why he's paid. And I just sit here and talk to fans of other clubs.
And that whole game is going to turn out to be a 0-0 spectacle.
I've got this funny feeling it's either going to be the last game on the entire highlight show and it'll be 0-0, or it'll be some ridiculous thriller. I can't see any in between.
I'd love it to be a ridiculous thriller.
Only if you win the ridiculous thriller.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
But, if we both score a goal, it's a step in the right
direction. I'm having to do this weekend for it, though. I'm doing a show in Falkirk this weekend, so I'm not going to get to watch it live. So what I'm going to have to do is try and avoid the result and then go on iFollow and watch the 4-hour, you get the delayed games that you can watch
it comes
on
up
iFollow.
At midnight, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch the game the next day and try and avoid the result the whole day.
Yeah, I'm not coming up. I was contemplating coming up, and then the Mansfield performance persuaded me to save my money. It's sad. You shouldn't be like that, but it's not been good enough recently. Last question before I let you go.
No worries, man.
Dreaded score prediction.
2-0 Pools.
I've written 2 down. I've written down Head says 1-1, which doesn't do us any a favour, really, does it? My heart says 1-0 Gillingham.
Ooh.
Law of averages says we have to win eventually, but then law of averages says you have to win eventually.
We've not won.
I'll go back to the 0-0.
We've not won in 18 league games. I think it is the longest in the EFL.
We have a saying amongst our fan base sometimes, and it's called generous Gillingham. I'm not saying it.
Nah.
Mate, it's been a real pleasure. Really enjoyed it.
It's been brilliant. No, look, thank you very much for having us. Absolutely love the podcast.
Excellent. Appreciate it. Like I say, you two are always retweeting and shouting out, which is great because I'm still trying to gain more League Two followers and try to find podcasts and that type of thing and YouTube channels to subscribe to and follow. So if you are listening and you are a Hartlepool fan, please drop a like. Please subscribe. We're always looking for guests to come on and do this type of show. 2,120 something, which, like I've said on plenty of occasions, I just find it ridiculous that many people subscribe to a channel of a bloke talking about his football club.
It's so odd, isn't it? Like, we're the same. I think we just hit 1,600 the other day, and we're just like, we just done this for 2 lads just to talk about League Two football. Yeah, I mean, I used to do it just, the previews on my own, and then COVID came and we had to change everything, and it's made the channel better in my opinion because we get to do this type of thing. And Zoom's not ideal. You want to be there talking to people, but for this type of fixture, it's great. And we get to meet people like yourselves, which is brilliant. And I will put the details for the lower league look in the description at the bottom of the video. So go and check them out. Good man. Go and subscribe wherever you find your podcast and go and follow them on Twitter as well, because it's a brilliant setup. It's I like to call it rustic. If you go back and listen to the edition that I was on, I won't repeat the word that was used in the introduction, but I just thought, League Two is going to be a little bit different this season. We are your explicit League Two podcast, and we also have you come on our Twitter Spaces? I'm not. No, they tend to be Sunday night. Unfortunately, I'm either asleep trying to recover from playing football, or I'm fair enough. Finally doing something with the family. Any Gillingham fans listening, any Hartlepool fans listening, every Sunday we do I'm a League Two 606 on the Lower League Look Twitter. I'm really just to kind of like your 5 Live 606. We treat it like a football phone in. Drop us a follow, drop in the 606. It'd be really good to have a few Gillingham fans on. Go and check them out, Gills fans. It's good fun as well. It is as well. They're really good lads that do it, and
like you say, they just do it because they want to talk about football. There's no airs, no graces, and you get exactly what you see.
Magic, man.
Right, we've done all that. Like I said, I'm not travelling up to the game Sunday. If you Saturday, if you are, fair play to you. It's a long way to go to watch a team that scored 2 goals in, quick maths, 360 minutes of league football. So fair play to all the Gills fans that are travelling. Be safe, be loud. Try and bring home them 3 points. We'll be back Monday. I will be recording with Reese from the German Gills to look back at the game and hopefully have something positive to talk about. Certainly more positive than the Mansfield results. But until then, enjoy the rest of your week and up the Gills.